Take a peek behind the scenes of the thrilling stage production Dial M for Murder at Greater Boston Stage Company. Director Waylon Symes shares his enthusiasm for this fresh adaptation of the classic thriller.
Dial M for Murder is such a classic, and honestly, I've read the original, Frederick Knott play, several times over the last decade and really considered it. And then when I saw that Jeffrey Hatcher, who's a really well-known regional theater playwright, had done a new take on it, I thought I immediately wanted to read it. I got a manuscript version before it was actually released by the company that published it, and thought that he'd done this great job of freshening it up so it just feels like the original, but has enough new twists and turns and fun elements that I instantly decided we wanted to do this piece.
Under Symes' direction, the cast brings nuanced performances to this suspenseful whodunit, or rather, a will he get away with it kind of mystery.
We want you to feel like it's 1960 and you're watching the Hitchcock movie. That's what we want to do in every way. And that's what I think Jeffrey Hatcher, who did this adaptation, wants to do, with just enough of these little modern elements that make it feel fresh and alive.
Lily Kaufman plays the role of Maxine, a character she describes as flawed yet heroic in her own way.
My partner and I did watch the movie version, which was fascinating because I don't want to give any spoiler alerts, but I think this stage adaptation makes particularly my character of Maxine a lot more interesting than the movie version does. There's, I think Maxine in Dial M for Murder, the adaptation that we're doing right now, is so smart and so fun and gets a lot of opportunities to be a little flawed, but be also kind of a hero in her own way in the end.
Kimberly Connor, making her debut with the company, portrays the character of Margot. As Margot, Kimberly enjoys the challenge of remaining oblivious to the complex web of deceit unfolding around her.
Well, the great thing that I love about this actually is that they all have to know what's going on and I get to not, because I have no idea. And which is wonderful because it is so complex. Like the web that Tony weaves is so detailed and intricate and specific that I'm glad that I don't have his job, because he has to track all of this stuff and Margot has no idea. And so I'm kind of lucky in that way that like Kim gets to have no idea because Margot has no idea. Yeah, they get to worry about all of that. I get to remain ignorant to the whole thing, which is good for me.
Michael Ryan Buckley steps into the villainous role of Tony, the mastermind behind the diabolical murder plot.
It's not a terrible surprise to know that I play the villain. He basically shows his cards very early in the play, so it's not too much of a spoiler. Tony is nothing if not a gentleman outwardly, but then there's this diabolical villainous side to him behind the scenes that really only the audience gets to see throughout the play.
Michael commented on how aspects of his character have slipped into his own life, for better or worse.
Unfortunately, there are some aspects of Tony Wendis that have rubbed off on me. Certainly the posture that he employs every day, being a sort of a buttoned-up, square British man who's very erudite, so he has this really rich vocabulary, and a lot of those words have sort of started to end up in my email correspondences. And even just now, sort of talking, I don't think I would have ever used the word erudite in real life, but that's what Tony has given me.
And there's two elements to that, which is this play I think does better than almost any play I remember, is we see characters acting. So we see the characters acting, where we see the husband be a really loving husband to his wife, while we, the audience, know that that's all a big lie. And then we see the moment where the wife leaves and it all drops and we see what's really happening and see him prep for his next part of the con that he's doing. And it's been really fun to play with those moments of, we keep saying in the rehearsal process, this is where your mask drops. And this is where it drops just a little bit. And this is where suddenly there's no mask because you're terrified and suddenly we see the real you. And that's the really fun moments for the audience and for the actors to play with.